Hello everyone, today's video will be about IT security and how you can stay safe in today's online world. We will be going over several different topics, terms, and ways to stay safe online. Some of those will sound like common sense, while other tips and tricks will be new information to you. Either way, I hope everyone is able to learn something from this video and stay safe out there. So in a general overview, we're going to go over three topics: who's at risk, what's at stake, and can you be too safe? So who's at risk? Everyone. The mentality, that can't happen to me, is all too wrong and inaccurate. One slip up is all it takes for you to become a victim. So what's at stake? Practically everything that you post online. Any data that you enter, whether it's in emails, social media, bank accounts, all of it is at stake. It's anything that anyone steals, or anything that can link data back to you, or data that can link back to even more important things. So like if all of your online passwords are all the same and you use the same email for everything, and somebody realizes that, or realizes what your password and email are, well, then they can try to do as much research as they can about you, realize where you bank, and if your email and your password happen to be the same for your banking login, then that can be a problem. So, and I'll go over a few ways to help keep that safe as well. And then, can you be too safe? No, you can't be too safe with your data, but you can, however, be way too paranoid. Not everyone is after you, not everyone wants your data, not all companies want to data mine you. You still cannot be too safe with your data. You definitely want to make sure that you take the extra steps to make sure that you are safe. So let's go over some terminology real quick. Now, you'll see several different terms here. I'm not going to go over every one of them, but I do encourage you to pause the video, familiarize yourself with all of these terms. That way you can better understand them and better understand how to protect yourself. So we've all heard of bugs. What it is an error in software, including applications and operating systems. Some are harmless, sometimes annoying, but others can be exploited by hackers. Encryption. That's the process of scrambling data and making it unreadable, and the opposite is decryption, which is the decoding of that data. Both encryption and decryption are forms of cryptography. Malware, which is malicious software, and it refers to any kind of malicious program or software designed to damage or hack a target. Malware includes viruses, worms, Trojan horses, ransomware, spyware, adware, and so much more. So phishing is a form of social engineering, which we will go over. These are just alphabetized. In a phishing scheme, an attacker reaches out to a victim in order to extract certain information that can be used later. The attacker could pose as someone from like customer support from a known company. Then from there, they just ask the victim to do something such as click on a malicious link that was sent to them via an email, text message, or just simply over the phone, just have them give that information verbally. Now, ransomware is a type of malware that locks your computer, and it won't allow you to access any of your files. What will happen is you'll see a message that tells you that your files are locked due to ransomware. It'll tell you how much of a currency that you owe, and when and where to make the payment in order to get your file or get access to your files. Rather than hacking a computer, social engineering can be carried out by gaining entry into any system by placing a phone call or sending an email or even a text message pretending to be someone else, typically someone who regularly has access to that system, such as IT. And then tricking the victim into giving them valid information to allow the hacker to actually get into the system and do whatever they need to do. Spear-phishing is like phishing and can be used interchangeably, but spear-phishing is actually more customized, it's more targeted, and it's a little bit more specific than what phishing is. Hackers try to trick victims into clicking on malicious links or attachments, pretending to be a close acquaintance. This can be somebody like a friend or family or IT, a client, or somebody from a company that they know that this individual works with. And so it's a little bit more targeted. You have to, or the hacker has to do more research to figure out, exactly who you work with and so on and so forth. Whereas phishing is a lot more general. They're just, hey, I'm from IT. I need access to blah, blah, blah. Whereas spear phishing is, hey, you know me from blah, blah, blah. This is the person that I am, and so on and so forth. And, they use more specific information to gain your trust. Virus is a type of malware that is embedded and hidden in a program or a file. Unlike a worm, it needs human action to spread, such as downloading the software or sending an email or clicking on a link. Viruses can infect computers and then steal, delete, encrypt, or even damage any data on that computer. Our next topic is going to be computer safety and ways to keep your computer safe at work and at home and even while traveling. One thing is to definitely keep your software up to date. This includes antivirus, operating system, and applications. Most updates include patch fixes to prevent any bugs. They include security fixes and even sometimes advancements in the application itself, allowing you to do more. Some people will not update to the newest software. They always try to stay a version behind. I don't recommend that. What I do recommend is waiting a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then updating just to make sure that there aren't any issues with that current version and make sure that that new version is compatible with your software and everything that you utilize with it. Always utilize a secure password and change it every 90 days. Passwords should be complex enough for others to not be able to remember it and hack it, but easy enough for you to remember. Phrases are a lot better than words when coming up with passwords. Special characters are highly encouraged if you can use them. Never use common dates that relate back to you. Same thing goes with names. And do not use your username or email inside of your password. Always lock your computer when you walk away, especially at work. Files and folders that contain sensitive data should have passwords on them. Use some sort of antivirus software on your computer. Do not plug in random USBs that you find or are given to you. Leave them where they are or throw them away. If you're at a conference, do not take it, and if you do take it, do not use it. Best case, if you're at work, take it to your IT department and let them dispose of it or do whatever they need to do with it, because there's usually a company policy. Disconnect your device from the internet when not in use, and only install trusted applications from trusted sources. Then on to mobile safety. Keep your phone's operating system up to date. Ensure that your apps are also up to date. On your phone, utilize a password. It can be a biometric password, a PIN, a character password. Only install trusted applications from trusted sources. For spam calls, this is extremely important. Do not answer calls from unknown or private numbers unless you are expecting a phone call. If you answer it and realize it is a spam call, hang up immediately and do not say a word. I have had calls where they've tried to record them. It is possible. That's why I highly recommend don't answer them, but also do not say a word, just hang up. Mobile carriers are now allowed to block a lot of those spam calls, telemarketer calls, and things of that nature, but they do still get through your carrier to your phone. So download apps that your carrier has, such as the AT&T Mobile Security app and Call Protect app. I personally use those. They've been great. They've been blocking telemarketers. The ones that do get through, I'm allowed to go ahead and block those callers and report those numbers. Sure, I can block those calls on my personal phone, but using it through the app also helps AT&T and whoever your carrier is go through and monitor those numbers and eventually block those if they are deemed as spams. Email safety is huge, especially at work. Do not reply, open, or click on any links or attachments if you do not recognize the sender. If the email seems too good to be true, it is. If you do not initiate the email and it seems suspicious, delete it. Report it to IT, whatever the correct policy is at work, and then at home, delete it. Be wary of any emails that you receive that are unexpected. Hover over links within the email to verify that they match what is being displayed. Hover over the reply email to see if it matches or not. Depending on the email application that you're using, you might actually have to click reply and then hover over that email address and see, what it says. I don't necessarily recommend it. I just recommend deleting it. If you have a bad feeling about the email, like your gut is telling you there's something wrong with it, report it to IT or delete it. Online safety is a huge thing that a lot of people struggle with, and I think it is one of the most important ones. So if you take away anything from this video, I hope it includes a lot of things from online safety. Do not visit random sites, only sites that you trust. Obviously, if you're doing research, you have to expand your horizon outside of sites that you usually go to. Just be cautious. And also try to use sites that have HTTPS rather than HTTP. The S means secure. A lot of websites, such as banking sites, utilize that, and it helps keep your information safe. Do not click on random links or ads that do not pertain to your needs. Do not share personal information online. Social media is huge. A lot of people want to share just about anything and everything on social media. Be careful. Limit what you share on social media, especially when it comes to vacation or being gone away from your home. Do not post that you are on vacation until after you get back. Posting while you're on vacation entices people to want to try to break in or steal or anything like that. I know a lot of people have friends on social media that they don't necessarily know in real life, and so you want to be safe. And just because you also know the person in real life doesn't always mean that they're trustworthy. Let's be honest here. So be careful with what you share. The less identifiable information online, the better. I know a lot of people put their birthdays online, pictures of their kids and where the kids go to school and so on and so forth. Just be careful with it. If you're going to post it, try to make sure that your accounts are as secure as possible. Minimize location sharing as much as possible. Websites ask you, can we use your location? Click no. Minimize the amount of apps that use your location. Shut your location services off on your phone even. Minimize online shopping when possible. I know that's hard to do, especially in today's day and age where you can buy almost anything online. Just be careful. Only shop at places that you trust that have HTTPS in the web address. Be careful. Just be cautious. If something seems iffy with the website, don't use it. If you do not know the person on social media, do not accept their friend requests or chat requests. Utilize your browser security tools to shut off cookie tracking, location tracking, and so on and so forth. If a website asks to use your location, tell it no unless it's absolutely necessary. A lot of times you can just utilize zip code feature. Utilize that rather than location services. If a website asks to send your computer notifications or send your phone notifications, click no unless it's absolutely necessary. The next topic is going to be travel safety. Travel safety is important, and you can use everything else that's been mentioned to protect yourself, but there's a few other tips I want to throw in here for traveling. This really goes for anytime you're out in public, not just traveling around, but do not use public Wi-Fi or any wireless networks that are not password protected. If you have to use one, do not access banking information or anything that has personal information on the website that you're visiting. Do not order anything or use your debit card or credit card while on a public Wi-Fi, especially if it doesn't have a password. It's always best to also disable your wireless auto connect on your devices, disable Bluetooth connectivity, and shut off your location services if they're not necessary. Obviously, if you need to use GPS, it's kind of necessary to have that on. Also, disabling your Bluetooth connectivity and shutting off your location services really helps with saving your battery. So there's also a bonus besides security. So home networking can be a fun topic here. Because if you're tech savvy, some of this stuff can really help you out. And you get to learn while doing this. If you're tech savvy, install a firewall on your home network. Businesses should already have firewalls on their networks. Most people don't have a specific firewall at home. Even if you don't have a firewall, ensure that your modem has a password and that your router has a password. And those passwords should not be the same. Ensure that your wireless networks have passwords. Make sure your router has a password, and do not use common names, phrases, or dates in your wireless network name, the SSID. Utilize wired connections when you can, and wireless only when you have to. Wired connections via Ethernet cables are more secure than wireless connections, Plus, they are more reliable, they're faster, and they're more consistent than wireless networks. Do not allow just anyone to access your home network or your work network. I'm not telling you that you can't give this out to your friend that comes over every day or your family or whatever. And I'm not going to tell you that your mom is trying to, hack your network and give you a virus, or even your best friend. But the thing is that what you must know is that your friends, your family, if they don't practice good IT security on their devices might carry some sort of virus in them or any malware. And when they connect to your network, it can spread. That malware can spread to your network and get on your devices. So even if you're trying to go above and beyond and protect yourself, if you let just anybody access your network, it could potentially damage your devices. The same thing goes for wired networks. Don't let just anybody plug into them. And also, if you're tech savvy, utilize a VPN for your home network. VPNs create a secure, password protected tunnel for your network. And if you're using this at home, hopefully your network is already password protected by your router and your modem, so you'll have that extra protection there. Now, with VPNs, don't get confused. A lot of people do utilize them for connecting to their work network because it does provide a password protected and encrypted tunnel to their work network that helps them access whatever files they need to work from home or whenever they're traveling. The VPN can be used for lots of different options. Now here's a few extra tips and tricks that hopefully can help you stay safe as well. Utilize two-factor or multi-factor authentication. What this does is whenever you sign in to a website or an application, it'll either send you a text, a phone call, or request a passcode from a two-factor authenticator app. And then once these are verified, then you are able to log in to whatever site you're trying to log into. And this helps ensure that somebody in a different state or country or wherever they might be can't just get your password and get your username and log in. They still have to have access to the two-factor authentication. Shut off your location services. Don't use it unless it's necessary. Learn about different types of threats to your computers and phones. Back up your data regularly. Should there ever be an attack, you can always revert back to a safe backup that you had. Businesses should already have their servers being backed up. Review your accounts regularly, check your credit, and even check all your financial accounts and even any other accounts that you might have to ensure that they're all secure. How often should you check it? Some people do it daily, some people do it weekly, some people do it monthly, some people never do it. Just find something that works for you. And always check your bank statements every month. Any statement that you get, are you still using that? Do you have an old bank account or credit card account that's no longer in use? Ensure that they're closed. Or if you don't use it, should you still have it open? If not, you should probably go ahead and close that out. What about your social media? If you have any inactive accounts and you don't plan on using them, delete those accounts. What about that application on your computer or your phone? If you have old unused apps, delete them. There's no need to have them if you're not using them. Are your apps too old to where they're not maintained and updated by the creators? Go ahead and delete it, especially if it's not compatible with your operating system. Put down that device. Set aside some time to stay off of your devices, whether it's your phone, your tablet, your computer, whatever it may be. Put that down. Use that time for vacation, family time. Find a hobby that doesn't include technology. The less time online means the less data that's shared, less data that can be mined. Also, studies have shown that people are happier when they're on social media less often. Be proactive about your online safety and security and use common sense. How can this affect your company and business? By practicing the previous tips, you will not only help yourself, but you'll also help your company as well. When it comes to businesses, the weakest link in the security is you. Humans can be manipulated and tricked much easier than computers can be hacked and reprogrammed. Practicing good techniques can prevent you from being the source of hacking in your company. When businesses are hacked, they could potentially face all of the following damages and then some. They could have a damaged reputation, financial loss, loss of customers, loss of clients and vendors, loss of partnerships, and even loss of valuable information. It's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to your business. So to summarize today's video, use common sense. If it doesn't feel right, report it to your IT department if you're at your business. If it's a home issue, delete it block it, whatever it may be. Just do whatever you can to prevent that person from contacting you via email, text, phone call, so on and so forth. Use passwords. You can never be too safe. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them down below. I'm more than happy to respond and answer. And once again, thank you for watching, and as always, like and subscribe. Thank you.